in Wisconsin, there are around 23,000 people that are incarcerated in the prison system. And if you include people that are under some form of carceral control, which includes extended supervision, like all the post-release versions and probation, it's around 90,000.
16,000 people in the 53206 zip code. The disproportionate number of incarcerations is about 600. What we're talking about is a concentrated area within the city of people who have been and are still currently disenfranchised.
They tell me all the time, man, what you expect me to do? I'm a felon now, I'm a juvenile. I can't get no good job. And y'all always put me right back where it started from.
Go through this experience where you're waiting to adult court and you have a judge that tell you that you will never be reformed at 15 years old.
Did you grow up living in the zip code 53206?
Yes, 15 to Nackerson.
What was your favorite thing about living in that neighborhood?
The people. We know everybody in that neighborhood. It was community oriented. Everybody was a close-knit family.
Some of my most innocent memories, the ones that I can say I love, is the community, the melting pot that used to be. I didn't know anything else. I thought that everything that I experienced I thought that poverty wasn't poverty. I thought that violence wasn't violence. I thought that the sadness, the hate that I saw on a daily basis was the opposite. I thought it was happiness because it was something that I was so familiar with. So
I think I was in a drive-by when I was 9. I was riding my bike to the end of the block. 2 cars came across. They started shooting, went around the block twice.
It's one of those things where you have to be in it, and once you're in it so long throughout the duration of your life, you come to find that that's your norm. So it's the dichotomy of it is I felt unsafe when I would enter into a community that wasn't the community that the one I grew up in.
Like when I was in a neighborhood, everything was normal, but when I actually got out of the neighborhood, I saw it wasn't.
But out of the network of friends that I came up with, which is for any kid, probably 6 or 7 close individuals that you latch on to, only one of us escaped incarceration and death.
62% of Black males born into the 53206 zip code will be incarcerated at some point in their life.
Yes, I was incarcerated actually for 25 years. From the time I was 15 until 4 years ago at the age of 40, I was released.
At a point in time when I was in college, just about the whole neighborhood got locked up. They got indicted.
How old were you when you Okay.
And spending that much time in incarceration is just like, again, when we talk about community and thing, that became a community to me. So
Coming out to the same place, cycle continues. Incarceration begins to look like a badge of honor, or it just becomes accepted. Like, yeah, I'm going to prison. Probably I'm going to go. I know for sure I've been, and it's not as much of a knock as it would be in many other communities, but it becomes something that is not to be ashamed of or run away from in that community.
I got 10 homeboys, 7 of us in here have been compromised in some way. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So if you got 10 light bulbs and you knock out 7 of the light bulbs, it's gonna be very dim.
Do you think that there is a feeling of inevitability amongst young people in these neighborhoods that incarceration will be a part of their story?
It will. It will. Just due to the lifestyle. You have a lot of families where there's no adult in the household. So the kids are raising the kids and they're looking at the internet, the TV.
When you speak about the kids in the 5th grade that almost wake up with this inevitability that something tragic will befall them, whether it's incarceration or death. Some of them rather death than incarceration.
We're talking about an area that is heavily monitored police. So law enforcement plays a part in that. And as the chain goes, a heavily policed and monitored area will have more touch points with law enforcement, that will lead to more, arrests, which leads to more incarcerations, etc.
Because when I think about it, that's where their uncles at. That's where their brothers at, their cousins, their dads, granddads to some of them. That's where they're at.
It's kind of like, what do we do about it? Because everybody, it's easy to talk about it, but what's the solution? How do we correct this activity and this conduct?
Why do you think that neighborhoods like 53206 have such high incarceration rates?
Poverty, strictly poverty. That's one of them things where people need money. It's as simple as that. People need money, and because there's been such a lack of it, or a lack of a viable way to get it and maintain it, there's been no education in how to maintain finances once they're cured, once you get them.
And so they don't have, no one's showing them values. They don't know how education is important.
One of the biggest things right now is just poverty and like education on certain.
Just a simple matter of the same reasons that incarceration is concentrated in areas that are more represented by poverty and by no education rates, and by the racial structures that have created pockets of separation, segregation, and poverty and low employment across the entire country.
But a lot of times it's just survival because it's poverty.
What do you think change could look like in these
I
communities?
think we need to have people such as myself who came from the neighborhood go back, help them education-wise.
They just need resources. You need somebody to take a stand and actually be the leader that people can actually follow.
What we need is more eyes on opportunities, and what we need is a genuine conversation, a tangible conversation around what it looks like to infuse this area that has this concentrated challenge going on within it, to have an opportunity to make its way out of it, because neighborhoods don't exist by themselves, they exist with people. And this neighborhood, even with the challenges that we're speaking to, is still finding the way to not only exist, but to thrive in adversity.
We find somebody that's bold enough with some type of platformer to demand that from all parties involved, then it'll forever be a problem. It'll be a catchphrase, a tagline at 53206 is such and such the most incarcerated. I'm so fucking tired of hearing that. The most incarcerated population in the United States. Milwaukee is the most segregated.
Yeah, they should be having a lot better guidance for people that are inside and coming out. We should also be having a lot more of a focus on rehabilitation and agency and potential inside than just punishment and figure out your own. Because 95% of people are coming home, and if we just disregard that statistic, we're only disregarding our own future safety every single day, because we're ignoring what that looks like for unstable people coming back over and over again, cycling out.
Are there any programs in these communities that are helping?
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of programs that are in these communities.
I'm director of Correcting the Narrative for an organization called The Community. Our mission objectives, our particular mission statement is that we foster full potential of people with criminal records through our pre-entry work, which is inside work. And we showcase the successes, the humanity, and the agency of people through correcting the narrative. We also focus on what it means to have a genuine conversation about the realistic aspect of all of these challenges. What does it mean to build a community opportunity, and having conversations with system workers and actors who normally don't talk to impacted people and impacted folks from neighborhoods like 53206.
We have in-prison programming that we just now started, which will allow people to become leaders and to expand their opportunities and options. And then we have a learning platform that we are working with several national partners on creating, which will hit that large group of people that are in prison who will not go into higher education and prison options, will not go into vocational options.
414 Life, they're a big advocate in the community right now. You got Promise Keepers that's actually out there, that's a big advocate. It's a lot of resources. You just have to actually go out and look for it. What in the position that I'm in, community liaison officer. It's more so we need more block watchers. We need more block parties. We need more things where the community actually comes together with law enforcement.
Jobs in the area of 53206, where people can get jobs. Let's have a program where, like when I first came on the police department, we used to mentor kids who wasn't doing good in school academically. We had baseball, football, basketball for them in the summer to keep them off the streets. And we helped them with their academics.
But I think it just got to be some type of camaraderie between police and communities, because we done scaled away from each other so much. It's hard building the trust and actually repairing. So I think it's just more community engagement. I know we work with Safe and Sound, and their main goal is to bridge the gap between community and police officers.
Is building opportunities to talk about this, to move it forward, because there are many of organizations in Milwaukee and in 53206 that are doing this work.
If you could give one piece of advice to a young person growing up in these communities, what would you say?
Just walking to somewhere where you can get some peace and understanding, and you can be allowed to breathe.
I said, keep your head up. It's not forever. Eventually you'll be grown, and just take it as a learning experience where you want to be and where you don't want to be in life.
Whatever it is, just close your eyes, leave them open, and just talk to somebody. I promise you rather, you will get your answer. We just got to train people what to look for.
A lot of times when we go to the schools and talk, like the kids' reaction when they first see us, they might throw their middle finger out, or, oh, that's the police, or react a certain way that's negative. But then after we actually sit down and have a conversation, and I'll tell you some of the stories that I've been in and what I lived through, then it's more so a relationship that we don't build, and it's a bond by the end of the conversation.
And they want people who came from that neighborhood, who are successful, who got their knees and elbows dirty. They want to hear from people who've been through the dirt, who've been through some of the things they're going through now, how they got out and be successful. Because they always say, you guys get successful, y'all start making that money, y'all want nothing to do with us. Y'all want nothing to do with us. And that's not the case. We care about them, and they need us.
I can't tell him, hey, come on, man, let's go turn yourself in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, let's figure this out. Let's figure it out. And I'm going to do everything on my end to at the very least show you that I did all that I could. Because that's more than the effort. I mean, that's more than the result sometimes, the effort.
Right. And I develop a relationship where people know each other, so we start helping each other. You need to bring that back.
I think if there's more positive resources and like the big brother, big sister programs like that, just showing kids that they care, because a lot of kids feel like don't nobody care.
Somebody telling them, don't do it alone. Be vulnerable enough. By finding that one man or woman or book or song that helps you be like, okay, I'm okay.
I would always ask a person what's going on before I go directly at their problem. You know, because people want to be heard. Can't help nobody if you don't listen to them.
And then it's at that point that you remember that people are good. You know, I'm a man of that watch sports, and when we see people that give a great effort out there, we don't give a damn about what the result. We just know that that person gave it his all, and that means the most.
It changes the way a person that has a record sees himself. And that's what I feel is the biggest thing, is that life is going to put barriers in front of you. The system, laws are going to be put in place that you have to navigate, especially at a record. But the limitations you put on yourself are going to be bigger than anything in life.
This is not what I want to do, is stand on it in the face of rejection. It's easy to change if I'm around a bunch of millionaires and they say, hey, you should, okay, I'm not worried about being rejected, but to be rejected by the people that you got to go back to and live in that same, because you decided to do something that was going to change your life for the better.
So if you think you can't do certain things because you have a record, if you struggle with the heaviness of the shame of having a record or what you did to acquire a record, that's going to hold you back more than anything. So like addressing that story you carry is, to me, again, biased that may be, the biggest successful aspect of a person returning to society and making it.
And that gives you a look into the fact that everyone wants to do better. Everyone wants to do better. Just give them the blueprint. Give them the blueprint.
Like a big tree with leaves, limbs, we all look out for each other, help each other out. Everybody is on assignment, and we are investing to help each other so we all can have happy life.